Okay, last week we cut out shapes that look like clouds, but we know that those cloud shapes might look like clouds, but they're probably going to be something else, right? We're going to turn those into sheep. If you did put one in your sky, though, you could keep that a cloud, okay? So what you're going to do is very gently peel those off. And I had a little trouble with this, kind of ripping my paper, so do it real slow and gentle. And then we're going to throw those away, but I'm going to set mine to the side. You're going to peel them off of your paper, and anywhere that you see a line going across your shape, you're going to erase it. Okay, so I'm going to take my pencil. I don't want this line to cut my sheep in half, so I'm going to get rid of it right there. Now the other pencil lines, we are going to take a black oil pastel and we're going to trace all of our other pencil lines. So this line that goes right here along the mountain or the hill, I'm going to trace that line. I'm going to trace this line, but when you come to one of your cloud shapes, I want you to stop. This is going to be one of our lambs. Now I can decide that I'm going to make my lamb facing this way, or I could have him facing that way. Whichever direction you want him facing, that's where you're going to put his head. I think I'm going to put this guy's head right here. So I'm going to actually color in a circle, all black, because we're going to add his eyes later with some white paper. Okay, and then I want to give him some ears, so I'm going to do a little oval here and a little oval here. And I'm going to take my oil pastel and I'm going to just follow that line that goes around the shape that I blocked out with my paper. Okay, and then how many legs does a sheep have, or a lamb? Yep, I hope you said 4. So 1, 2, I'm going to put 2 in the front. I might even put a little foot right here, so I'm going to put a little ball on the bottom. 3, 4, and then a little ball. So I've got 4 legs on this one. And this one, I think I'm going to have him looking at the other lamb. So I'm going to put his head on this side. Make a nice circle there. And then I'm going to add a few ears. 2 ears, 1 on each side. And then I'm going to use my oil pastel to outline his body. And that's just, outline just means to go around the outside line. So I'm outlining. And then he needs some feet too, unless he was laying down out there in the field, which I'm going to make him standing. So I'm going to put 2 legs up in the front of his body, with a little foot on each one, and 2 legs in the back. 1, 2. Okay? And then I just noticed that I still need to trace this pencil line right here. So I'm going to trace that one. And I haven't traced this one that goes right up here. So check for your pencil lines. Make sure you traced all of those. I am not going to go around my cloud because I don't want black on my cloud. So I'm going to just leave my cloud white. So it's like a little white cloud floating along in the sky. Okay? Now, to make our sheep have some texture, we could use cotton balls. One year I used cotton balls, and if I have some, we might do those. But this year I have tissue paper. So we're going to do something a little different. We're going to be taking pieces of tissue paper, and we're going to take the back of our pencil. We're going to put the tissue paper on the back of our pencil and then kind of squish it around there. Then let go with this hand and take both hands and squeeze that around there so it's nice and tight. Once you have it there, you're going to take your glue bottle, and remember how these work. We just turn them upside down and push, and that little tip, when it pushes in, it's going to let the glue out. I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to press it right here on his body. And it's making little dots. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I've got little dots right there. And then I'm going to take this and stick it right into that little dot. Okay, so if it works for you, if this doesn't work for you, you can just wad it up into a little ball and pinch it on there so that it has some texture. Or you can keep doing it like this. So I might do a couple more like this, but I kind of like it once I get it on there, I kind of wad it up a little bit. So I want him to look fuzzy or kind of furry because they've got wool, right? So I've got this all pinched around here. Now I'm ready for a little bit more glue. And you're just going to keep doing that until you cover your whole body of your lamb. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of press it down on there now that I got it. Cool. Mrs. Walker is going to have you do the whole body, and then I am going to be coming around with the hole puncher. And Mrs. Walker is going to punch out some holes that will fall on your table. So I'll just punch a few here so you can see what I'm talking about. we're going to be using those for our eyes, okay? So you'll want to put 2 dots of glue right where you want your eyes to be, and then pick up your little dots, oops, and put those on. And then you get to decide, where do you want him looking? Now I want him to look up at that guy, so I'm going to put my little dots right up at the top of my circle. Ooh, I might have to do that after. You might need to let it dry a little bit. Mine's wiggling around a lot there. So maybe let it dry for a few minutes before you do that. Go back to doing your tissue paper, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and finish putting tissue paper here. If you want, I mean, I suppose your cloud, actually the clouds probably would not feel like anything, would they? Because clouds are made of moisture, so we can't actually feel them. But we're going to put the texture on our little lambs. Now, if you want to add some flowers at the very end, if you get all of this covered and you got your eyes on, Mrs. Walker does have some tiny little tissue paper that you can use for flowers. If you want to squeeze it up into a little ball and put it out in your field, you could do the same thing with this. Just kind of squish it up, put it in your field. If you want to draw stems for the flowers, let's say I want to have a stem, I could put some green lines here. Right? Don't put too many though, because you got to put a flower on each one of those, right? I guess it could be grass, but I'm going to stick my flowers on those. Just kind of scatter a few around the field if you have time. Okay? Have fun making your lamb landscape.